All right, Lotters. Week 5, Star Kuiper Jr. back again with another edition of Star Vegas. The message board's been a pretty quiet place out here in the lot recently. I know that a number of traditional participants on the message board have gotten off to a rough start this year. I hope to see those guys back. Might even bring you some good karma on the scoreboard. So I encourage some of you guys, you know who you are. I'm not going to call you out, but I know you've had a slow start. It's been tough to get enthusiastic about fantasy football, but jump on the board, give us something to talk about, and get yourself some good karma on the scoreboard. All right, we're going to get right into this week's matchups. Actually, let me let you know, had a down week last week. I went 2-3. Still 14-6 on the season, so we're batting 700, which is insane. But a little bit of a down week. Got real close. Mama and Fuff both suffered heartbreakers there on Monday night, or I would have been 4-1. So at any rate, 14-6 on the year, getting into week 5. I got Hooligan at Mama, calling it the Mish Bowl. Mama's getting 8 in this matchup after all the lineup decisions are made. This is what's tough about this, doing it on a Wednesday, because nobody's really set their lineup with the Thursday game and whatnot. But Mama is getting 8. For Hooligan, Gio's going to have a huge week. He's going to tear up New England. Look at what Jamal Charles and Niall Davis did to that New England defense on Monday night. Gio should have a really, really big week. I also look for the Seahawk D to feast on Cousins, who is now the human turnover there as quarterback in Washington. For Mama, he's got a hope for a big day from Andrew Luck. Again, Luck almost pulled up the single-handed upset of Star last week with his 22-point effort. He's got a hope for another big week. It's a little tougher this week because the matchup isn't there. And he's got absolutely no production at running back. I expect to see him insert Bishop Sankey in the lineup to give himself a little bit of production, but Pierre Thomas and those guys just aren't getting it done for Mama. So with all that said, I do like Hooligan to win and cover the 8-point spread. Then we got Outlaw at Fuff. 2 more teams that have gotten off to a really rough start this year. Outlaw has to be disappointed in the production he's gotten from LaShawn McCoy so far, spending the number 1 overall pick on him. This is the week when it finally pays off. The Rams' rush D is really bad, and he also is getting a tackle back. LaShawn McCoy is getting a tackle back on that Eagle offensive line. I think he really, really puts it to the Rams this week and puts up some big numbers for Outlaw. For Fuff, I like Kelvin Benjamin against the Bears. They've got some really small corners, and he's going to really, really make some tough matchups for those Bears corners and that Bears secondary. So I like Kelvin Benjamin a lot this week. And, of course, Aaron Rodgers looked like he got back on his horse last week and is rolling once again with the Green Bay offense. So this is a pick'em game once all the lineups are brought up to speed. So I'm picking Fuff to win this one. Ben at Star. Ben's getting 16 in this game. A really incredible line as far as the lot goes. You really never see lines get that big. And for that reason, I think this is a bit of a trap game, but I'll go into it. For Ben, Russell Wilson, he's not going to score 4 points. He's going to score somewhere between probably 10 and 12. So I think they've got Wilson underproducing in the projections. And then we've got Percy Harvin in that same game. He's going to be the recipient of some of those points from Russell Wilson. He's not going to score 2 points. He's probably going to score more like 8 to 10. So, right there, I'm giving that Seahawk offense about another 10 to 15 points than the site's giving them. So, Washington made the Giants look like the second coming of the greatest show on turf last Thursday night. So what are they going to do to that Seahawk offense? I think they're going to do really well. And then Star, on his side, obviously to get a line that looks like that with 16 points, he's got a lot of good matchups, and obviously it's a very, very talented lineup. But we've seen with Star in the past that when he has these matchups and it looks like everything's going his way, his players just come out flat, and he really gets sort of a lackluster performance from them. They have a tendency to play down to their competition. When they have tough matchups, they have a tendency to rise to the occasion and really put up good numbers against teams that they shouldn't. So I see this as sort of a trap game for Star, and you're really going to be shocked, but with a 16-point line, this is my upset special. Ben is going to win this game this weekend. So you heard it here first. Then I got Kitty at Shark. Sharks getting 2. This is supposed to be a pretty competitive game, and looking at the lineups, it should be. The Atlanta offensive line is kind of a mess right now. They've got guards playing tackle and tackles playing center. They're taking people off the practice squad and bringing them up because they got so many injuries on the offensive line. That just doesn't bode well for Matt Ryan. I think he's going to be running for his life this weekend, and it's really going to hurt that Atlanta passing game and obviously Matt Ryan's stats. As far as her running backs go, Lacey's not producing, hasn't produced really yet this year. You're seeing him get 40, 50 yards rushing, maybe a short touchdown. Still looking for that big monster 120-yard rushing, multiple touchdown game from Lacey, and I haven't seen it yet. And Morris has a tough matchup with the Seahawks, so the run game's going to be tough for Kitty. The bright spot in her lineup this week, it looks like that Giants offense is really starting to click, and Victor Cruz is going to be one of the big recipients from that. So look for Victor Cruz to have a nice week. For Shark, I think Kaepernick's going to have a nice day. Kansas City's going to come out kind of flat in that 49er game. That was a huge emotional win for them to take down the Patriots on Monday night. And I think they're going to have a little bit of a letdown going in and facing San Francisco, and I think Kaepernick's going to be up for it. And the Bengals D should just absolutely maul Brady and the Patriots. You saw what the Kansas City defense did. They're not nearly as talented as the Bengals defense. I think Cincinnati's in for a real big week against that New England offense. So I've got Shark with the upset special covering the 2-point line, and that's what I've got for that game. And then the last game is the game of the week, the one we're all looking forward to for Nanu supremacy. Stinker at Scoresman. Surprisingly enough, for a 4-0 and a 3-1 team, Scoresman is getting 11 at this point. Really big line for two teams that are that good. For Stinker, that lineup is tough. I'm going to be honest. About the only thing I don't like about it is Hopkins in the flex, and I'm sure he's going to move him out and move Marshawn Lynch in. So the lineup is pretty well perfect at this point, and I think he's going to put up a lot of points. For Scoresman, we can't discount him. He's been coming up with big performances every week. Stafford should be in line for some good stats against the Bills. He needs Megatron to play in that game. Megatron's questionable right now with that ankle. We'll see if he practices this week. Stacy should have a nice day against the Eagles. That Eagles defense is suspect. We saw the 49ers run on them really effectively last week. So Stacy should come off the bye week and put up some good production. And then Orange Julius Thomas, the tight end out in Denver against Arizona. Arizona over the last 2 years has been the worst defense in the NFL against the tight end. And as we all know, he's a top 3 tight end in this league. And look for Manning to get him involved early and often. So Scoresman's going to put up his share of points too. I just think Stinker's lineup is a little bit more complete. I've got Stinker winning that matchup, and Scoresman will cover the 11-point spread. So obviously it's going to be a little bit closer than that. That's all I've got. Looking forward to a good week 5. Looking forward to seeing a lot of you guys on the message board. Let's get it rolling, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.